Yes, sir.
That was a good clap.
Explosive music, that's so cliche.
And remember, have fun with it.
Whoa! Welcome to Morning Wood. This is the sports division of Raw and Unfiltered TV here on YouTube. Wherever you're watching or listening to us today, we want to thank you for being with us. This is officially our second episode. Our first episode was done on the start of the NBA season, but we were too afraid because there were too many hot takes, too afraid to drop that footage. So
Fantastic takes.
I'll be dropping some clips in the meantime, just keeping you guys updated on what we had previously discussed. So today we're going to talk about the play-in and give a little recap based on our previous predictions. So we'll start with introductions. I am your boy, Starks, Josh, a.k.a. Xmg.Xotic, Hitch, whatever you want to call me. And we got below me, my boy.
You cool?
I'm not under you. I'm next to you.
Pretty sure we can all see the
that's
same
hilarious. Different for everyone. Wow, go. It's your boy Hart. Your boy Josh. Here to get these predictions off and see where we go for today.
We'll pass it off to the bottom left over there.
I'm top right, but that don't matter. How y'all doing? So,
What up?
Julian, your one and only Knicks fan in the cut. Just here to talk about this play-in real quick. This peasant tournament that the Knicks won't be playing in because we're on the Elites team now. Just see how this video goes.
What an opening statement.
See what we're talking about. Hey, man, we gotta keep it popping up in here, man. You know how we do. If y'all watched that first video, we had some very accurate takes from all four of us. We on our shit.
We're
Go ahead, Starks.
I feel like Molly on first take right now. We're gonna pass it on here to our last introduction down there at the bottom.
It's your boy Jose, Cuban boy on all social media. Heat and 6. Let's get this going.
All right,
All right.
so let's get this going. First off, let's talk about the East. And the East play-ins, we have the Pacers versus the Hornets, and we have the Celtics versus the Wizards.
Yes.
Who do we got? Let's take that first game, the least interesting game. I think the Pacers and the Hornets.
Definitely. All right, so
Pretty
we
black
know
and
for
white
sure-
there.
Yeah, I mean, so Hayward isn't playing for the Hornets, and that would be my team to win if he was playing. I think
said Hayward?
Yeah, no. If he was playing, he's hurt.
Oh,
He got an ankle injury. If he was playing, I like the Hornets to win that. But
I agree.
I don't know what LaMelo could do over there. I don't think it's enough. Terry Rozier, I don't know if it's enough to beat, the Pacers, Sabonis, Miles Turner, and all of them. So
Miles
Yeah,
Turner is actually
Go
out.
ahead.
No, I was just saying Miles Turner is actually out, but
is he?
the Hornets are just too young.
Yeah.
LaMelo and Bridges and all them boys, PJ Washington, they're just all too young. And the Pacers just have good defense, even without Miles Turner. And TJ Warren, who's actually out too. But they still got Brogdon, who's actually a great two-way guard.
Formidable.
And Sabonis is a walking triple-double nowadays. He does it all. So just on that, I'm taking the Pacers. One game, I'm giving it to the Pacers.
The only playoff experience the Hornets have is Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, who barely played in the playoffs for Boston. PJ Washington's too busy clapping cheeks, making babies.
Boy.
I think the experience of the Pacers, especially playing against Miami last year, and wasn't Sabonis was out for that series, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
this
he
year
was.
I think this year he has a chip on his shoulder. He has something to prove against the young Bucks. I think they easily take care of the Hornets. I don't think the boys are ready. and we'll see the Pacers in the playoffs. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it's pretty black and white here. The Hornets bench is still trash. Not very deep of a team. Hayward is out. LaMelo is obviously great, but I still think.
Yes.
You're gonna use that word already?
Yes,
No,
we
he's
are going to
great.
use that word.
Yeah,
he is
he's
a great player. Yes, we were throwing that around there. I didn't consider that hot, but since you want to start there,
That's definitely a hot
he's
take.
a great player. Oh,
Definitely a
I
hot
think
take.
America would agree with me on that one.
I'm sure they
But
would. I think that's a problem. He hasn't proved anything yet. He played 30 games this season. How is he great? He has great potential. He's not a great basketball player yet.
I don't even think he's rookie of the year.
I'll let you finish your take.
But
He said he's not rookie of the year. All right. Look,
He's not.
finish your take. Go ahead.
He's not.
But I do think that his playmaking he's obviously a great player. I still don't think he's obviously not at that point yet where he could just take over a game. Like his playmaking is still his plus attribute to the game, which meaning he would need his teammates, and he doesn't have Hayward. So I think that pretty much spells it out. TJ McConnell, very sneaky name, runs that Pacers second unit pretty well. Don't think there's anybody on the Hornets that are going to be able to handle that. As you could said, the playoff experience you guys talked about, I think it's pretty much black and white. So roll Indiana there.
Go ahead, Jose.
I was just going to say that LaMelo is basically their number one option. And if we're talking about the Pacers, you have Brogdon, who's a great defensive player. You have TJ McConnell, who was actually second in the league behind Jimmy Butler in steals, who's also a great defensive player, scrappy. And then the name that nobody's talked about is Caris LeVert, who's a great two-way guard. So LaMelo is just going to have his hands full. They're just going to throw different looks at him all game. And it's his first year. I just don't think that he's ready for that right now.
And they don't have a single big that can guard Sabonis at all, not even remotely. Not even remotely close.
They play small ball.
It's borderline laughable.
Yeah.
They have
PJ Washington probably.
I mean, yeah, but even then, like I don't even see him as a defender.
He's too focused on defending his baby right now.
Oh, and they got Justin Holiday.
Yeah, so I guess that.
So,
anybody else anything else for that?
I did goof up and say Pacers in the playoffs, but they would not only have to win this game, they have to win the next game, which is what we're going to go into right now, which is Boston versus the Wizards. How do we feel about it?
I'll start with this one. If Jaylen Brown wasn't out, I'd be going with Boston here. But due to the fact that he is not, I have to ride with the Wizards. Like, I think the last week of the season, like they really caught form. You would say. Westbrook is doing Westbrook things. I mean, we could talk about that all day, Westbrook, but we don't have time for that. I don't think their team is better than Boston's, but I think Beal and I think what they have is enough to get past what Boston has presently, which is Tatum and a bunch of undersized fellows.
All right, let's just talk about it. You're searching for a take here, and I honestly think that this play-in is honestly a great idea for the NBA because had this not been a thing, both these teams are terrible. Let's just put it out on the table. Both these teams are terrible. The Wizards are terrible. The Wizards are terrible, and Boston right now in its current state is awful.
That I agree with.
So both these teams are terrible.
So they're terrible with Jaylen Brown and awful without.
No, with they're average with Jaylen Brown. Right now, they're terrible without him.
I was gonna say even with Jaylen Brown, they were still struggling.
Yeah,
that is true.
And I think that speaks more to this is going to be a hot take. This speaks more to Brad Stevens. I don't think he is as good of a coach as portrayed to be. out there. He has way too much talent to be in a play-in this Eastern Conference, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, this Boston team does not seem to just fit. Marcus Smart should be the starting point guard. Kemba Walker just seems to throw off their flow. Jason Tatum forces too many shots. Jaylen Brown, where do you fit him into the offense? Because he himself is a very good second option. They don't have a big, which just doesn't make any sense to me. All the assets they had, they should have went out and got Cat at the trade deadline. They refused to point to that. They roll out with lineups with four guards like it's 2K. They play point guards at power forward. This team is not well constructed. They're small. They're offensively inefficient. It's not a good team. Then you look at the Wizards. It's a two-man show. Westbrook and Beal. Westbrook is inefficient offensively, so then you got to lean on Beal for all the offensive.
I would say it's a 2.5-man show because I think Rui Hachimura is a good player.
He's decent.
But
He's decent. He's decent. He hasn't taken that step yet.
Okay, so but like 2.5 though, because
2.25. 2.25. He's not there yet. He will be there, and he's a young guy that I want to keep my eye on. But both these teams are terrible. This is literally a toss-up. I think that the Wizards can edge it out just because Westbrook is a dog, and I think that he will keep them in the game. And as long as they're in the game, they have a chance against Boston because Boston can go 0 for 15 through stretches and not score for 5 minutes. So if I had to put my money on something, I would put it on the Wizards, but this is literally a toss-up, and both these teams are terrible. You guys take it over from me.
Okay. Yeah, again, I wouldn't say they're terrible, but Boston's inconsistent. Yes. As far as Washington, the last month or so, they've been very good. The last 2 months or so.
Very good.
Depending on Beal plays, I know he has a hamstring injury, but if he plays, I think it's easily Washington wins that game. Just a better cast of players that fit well, and I think they're ready for that experience right now. And Boston not so much. They're playing a lot of rookies, a lot of rotational players that shouldn't be playing right now. So pretty easy game for Washington to win.
They should.
Yeah. Jose, what's your take?
Well, I'm going Washington too, even though Bradley Beal is not 100%. But they're just the hot team right now. And to be honest, it's just a toss-up because either team could win. It's not really. What I was gonna say though was, what was it? Oh, you said something about Brad Stevens, right? Not being, you could say like a good coach, I guess. Yeah, overrated. Do you blame him or can we blame Danny Ainge? Because Danny Ainge has had, I don't even know how many first-round picks, and he continues to basically just keep them and keep drafting players that do nothing. Instead of using 2, 3, 4 first-round picks and getting somebody like a Karl Anthony Towns or somebody in that level to actually help them take that next step in the East.
I do believe
it's not even about. I'm sorry. Let me respond to that.
Go ahead.
It's not even about taking the next step. It's simply about performing to the talent level that you already have. They have the talent with Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, and Jason Tatum. They have the talent to be a top 4 or 5 seed in the East, even without the big.
But that talent doesn't work together.
Okay, whose fault is that? Create a system where
that's the GM who puts the team together.
Yeah.
Look at Eric Spoelstra. Look what he's had to deal with in the East. He's had a bunch of misfits for the last 5 years from Pat Riley. He's had to forge and makeshift things for that to work. You find a way. Look at the Knicks. That team is an offensive liability, yet they're 4th in the East right now.
And
they make it work.
And 3rd in the league in 3-point percentage. So just had to throw that out there.
Yeah. Now,
elite.
If Jason Tatum was hurt and they had Jaylen Brown, would it be a different story or it would be the same?
No, it would literally be the same for me. Like I've said, and this is also a hot take in the past, them two, in this system, at least, those 2 players are interchangeable.
They're the same player.
They're the same type of player.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before and niggas laughed, but Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are both right here. They're both the same level. They're both the same.
One's better. One's clearly better.
I think Jaylen Brown is the better two-way player than Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
but that's another discussion to be had.
Uh,
Anyway, it's irrelevant to what we're talking about. The play-in, the way this team is constructed, Boston is not
the fit
constructed well. And yes, you can blame Danny Ainge for that. You can blame the GM for that. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you still have talent to go and win games. And the lineups that Brad Stevens puts together, it does not make logical sense to me to be running 4 point guards at one time. Like there's a way for him to work these rotations where Kemba can run the offense, then Jason comes in and runs the offense. There's a way for him to do that, and I don't feel like he's doing it properly.
I agree. Does come down to just the players, but in any case.
Anything else on the East here before we move on to the West?
pretty much go.
All right, so we'll move right on to the West. First game, 10 versus 9. We have the Spurs versus the Grizzlies. Are we all consensus here riding with Pop? Pretty sure that's the consensus, right?
It is not.
It is definitely
Not the consensus.
It is not.
Enlighten me.
First of all, we threw the word Pop around because he had a good team. You know, it was the Spurs because it was Pop. Right now, the Spurs, they're okay. They're not. I don't see them as like this. They're definitely like a average, if not below average team. After Aldridge left, I mean, look at what they're left with. Look at who they're playing at the 4. Keldon Johnson is playing the 4.
He's a really good player
right now. He's a good player, really however. But at the 4, he's definitely undersized. Jaren Jackson, like the Grizzlies are like so much bigger in that area to where I think it shouldn't even be like. I think the Grizzlies just a better team. Like they should definitely beat the Spurs. I don't think like Pop is formidable, but he can't play the game. He can only coach.
That's true.
He can only coach. Like, I mean, what do you guys think of DeJounte Murray at this point? Like, he's a good player, you know. I mean,
he's a really good player. He's a really good two-way player.
I still think he can become a better shooter.
Yeah.
Devin Vassal's promising, but he's kind of streaky, still young. Keldon Johnson, other 4, obviously, and then they're starting Jacob. I'm not going to pronounce his last name with the P.
Hope. The white boy. The white boy.
Yeah, the 5.
Yeah. Like DeRozan's still there, but you know, he's still fucking DeRozan.
They don't play defense, and that's what comes down to. And that's why Memphis actually plays defense. The Spurs not so much. Not at all, actually. And it's gonna come down to that. And that's
I'm gonna let Starks. I'm gonna see what Starks has to say about Memphis because he seems itching over there.
I think this is my upset of the weekend, actually. I think the Spurs come out here. They take care of business against the Grizzlies. I don't think the Grizzlies are a very good team. The team that is trying to find its identity right now about who its leader is.
Very true.
Its leader is not Ja Morant, as much as he wants to believe that he's a top 5 point guard. He's not right now. I think he's a tremendous talent, a tremendous athlete, but he has not yet translated that athleticism to the basketball court properly. I think that team continues to run through him, and as long as they continue to do that, they will be at a disadvantage. If the Grizzlies really have a shot at beating the Spurs, I think it's going to be through Valanciunas, because Spurs, as you guys alluded to already, are very weak inside. But if DeRozan can have one of those games, and like I said, this is just one game. We're not depending on him for a whole series. He can just have one of them games where he goes off for 35, 40. You got DeJounte Murray clapping up Ja Morant. I think Vassell could be one of those games where he hits some shots. I think this could be one of those sneaky games that the Spurs come out here and go ahead and take care of the Grizzlies. This is a young Grizzlies team. They don't have a lot of experience on that floor as well when it comes to big time playoff games.
They don't.
And
But
a little bit
they
more than
were.
that
But
Spurs team.
they don't. But
my
however, they were in the playing game last year
Last
for
year.
Portland,
They were.
and they lost. So
because Dame was on
know,
another level.
that is true, but that's still we can still count that as experience, especially for this play-in, because this is like
And
2 years new.
Last night.
Yeah, this play-in is like 2 years new. So like, is that not like experience for like a playing game? Because it's like new.
No. I think
playoffs
is playoffs when you come down to it. It is whether or not you have experience or you don't have experience. The Grizzlies don't have the experience. I think the Dogs come out. They understand how the tempo of playoffs change. They understand how to control the tempo of the game. Pop is a master of that. I think he'll come up with a beautiful game plan on how to slow down the Grizzlies. I'm telling you, I think the Spurs come out here and I think they take care of business. As lackluster, and this shows the difference between Pop and a Brad Stevens. Pop has a much less talented team, yet they're still in the play-in, which is technically the same position the Celtics are in. And I think that Pop will actually take care of business against the Grizzlies. So we'll see how things go, but I think that game is much closer than you guys are alluding to because you're looking at the talent for face value.
I think that's actually the easiest game for me to pick. I think Grizzlies are going to blow them out.
Thank you.
I love to hear it.
To be honest,
I'm riding this train by myself.
As the great J. Cole said, John Morant, I'm on my Grizzly.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the money line for the Spurs. Probably
Doing this.
I'm going to drop some money on that.
it's plus money.
All right, so 3 for the Grizzlies, 1 for the Spurs. We'll move on to the best game of the whole week.
The marquee matchup.
The Lakers versus the Warriors.
Lakers versus the Warriors.
I'm gonna go out with I don't think this game will be close, but I'll let you guys
I saw the money line. It's right quick. It's 4.5. So Vegas thinks it's kind of close. But
that's a spread.
Oh yeah, there we go. The spread. My fault.
That's true. That is still. I mean, that's still
close,
be closer. But it could be closer though for a basketball game.
For a playoff basketball game,
I mean, you'd
it
assume
could be closer.
Wow.
I think Barney sacrifices to the gods
in a lot of ways.
And I think that he prays for a number 8 spot to play the Jazz rather than a number 7 spot to play the Suns. So I think the Golden State Warriors will absolutely blow out the Lakers.
Wow.
Get that 7 spot to play the Suns. We'll get a rematch between Curry and Chris Paul again. That's another storyline. And then we'll get the Lakers playing in the play-in against the Spurs, which I believe it will be the Spurs. They'll blow them out. They'll get back into rhythm so that they can go ahead and be the first 8 seed to beat a 1 seed, which is the Utah Jazz. That is my narrative for the playoffs moving forward.
That's pretty good there.
I mean, it's pretty simple. Steph Curry. That's it.
I mean,
it's not a 7-game series. 7-game series is a whole different story.
Yeah, the Lakers.
But if you're talking about one game, the hottest player and the MVP of the league plays in the Bay right now, and he is on a whole nother level. I don't think anybody on the Lakers can guard him. Absolutely nobody. Caruso, LeBron, KCP, it does not matter.
LeBron hasn't played, right? And
he has not.
He played the last couple. Played the Pelicans. Yeah. Okay.
Also, Golden State actually has one of the best benches in the NBA. And they've won 6 in a row. So I think they're coming in at a perfect time, perfect rhythm to knock out the Lakers and play, like Josh said, Phoenix in the first round, the whole Chris Paul versus Curry, and then setting up for a Lakers 8 seed to basically try to take on the whole West.
Be the first ever team to beat a 1 seed, and they will do it. We'll talk about that on our next show, but Any other takes for that, Donald? Who you got? Lakers or Warriors?
We know where this is going.
We'll say that I had the Lakers winning the game, but after you put it that way, the way you put it, I mean, I could definitely see the Lakers taking this game off. They definitely don't have to win.
Why would they want to?
That is true. Like, and we can't sit here and not say that Bron plays chess. Like he's not a stupid man. So all this stuff you're talking about is 100% going through his mind. Like I refuse. You're naive if you don't believe that.
Once Bron realized he wasn't going to get the 6th seed to play the Nuggets,
yeah,
I think it was like, okay, all right, I'll just relax. You know what? Who don't want to pick? Who don't want to play, the Suns or the Jazz? Right? Although the Jazz have been one of the hottest teams in the NBA, they have religiously folded in the playoffs.
Definitely beatable.
Religiously folded in the playoffs. They do not have anybody to guard LeBron on that team. Like
Joe Ingles.
They don't have a soul to guard LeBron on that team. You have an undersized point guard in Donovan Mitchell, who's going to be going up in there against the trees. Rudy Gobert is going to be guarding Anthony Davis. I'm thinking Anthony Davis taking his chops.
Yeah, I mean, I think about the matchups now too. Like before, you could just put Gobert on AD, but now Drummond is there. So it's like
Drummond is trash.
He is trash, but he's still there. He's trash, but he's still there, and he's still a more of a rebounding threat than AD is. So like that's still going to be like a matchup.
I think the Jazz would
problem the Jazz will have to like deal with.
Wait, what?
I'm saying the Jazz would love to see Drummond on the floor.
Yeah,
that means there's more threes going up.
I think so.
The best 3-point team in NBA, I think.
I think the Lakers' best bet against the Jazz is to put AD at the 5 and pull Gobert out the paint and watch LeBron go for 50 every night, which he would do because they don't have anybody to guard them in.
And Mitchell is coming back from injury, so we don't even know how he's going to be.
How he's going to feel? Yes.
Oh, he's going to go right back to his inefficient 30 shots a game, shooting 35% from the field. He's going to mess up that chemistry.
He's not going to have the bubble effect from last year. He's dropping 50.
Oh, he will.
Oh, okay.
On 40 shots.
4 shots? Nah, I mean, I do think the Lakers would like the 8th seed. Yeah, but honestly, that game comes down to how Curry performs. If he gets his shots open, if he makes his shots, rather. They handle that. The 2 and 7 seed, Chris Paul and Curry.
You gotta say that.
I'm dying for that.
That narrative is just there. That narrative is just there. This will be Chris Paul's best team to go up against Curry. That narrative is just going to be there.
Better than those the Rocket teams.
Yes. Absolutely. Way better.
Well,
absolutely. Way better.
I think, I think the Suns, the thing is,
I don't know if they're actually go ahead.
The Suns are already a decent team before Chris Paul got there. Like, the Rockets were a decent team, but like it was still Harden and then still like a bunch of like pieces, or it wasn't like as well constructed as the Suns. Like the Suns they're very well. Monty Williams is another conversation we need to have for Coach of the Year because
easily.
Like the Suns, like the way their rotations are solid. Like as a team, like their rotations are solid. There's never a time like on the floor they don't have their paint protection. Everybody like is a very defensive minded team all around. Like watching them play is like if you like basketball, like that kind of basketball, they're definitely a good team to watch. So 100% Chris Paul's best team. 100%. Without a doubt.
I mean, you can make an argument about the Rockets Chris Paul and the Suns Chris Paul, but it's this shit like
no, you're still here.
Oh, I thought it like my bad. I'm saying because Chris Paul on the Rockets was facing Golden State, how Golden State was. Now on the Suns, he's facing Golden State, but Golden State is nowhere near what they were before. So I think it's definitely his best chance.
Yeah, definitely. His best chance of beating the Warriors, best team. I think this team loses first round anyway if they play the Warriors or the Lakers. So is that really his best team, or just unfortunate matchups?
It's unfortunate matchups.
Okay.
I don't think they lose to the Warriors at all. I think they handle the Warriors in 5 or 6 games.
Warriors just beat them not too long ago.
This is 100% Chris Paul's best team. That Rockets team was heavily dependent on him and James Harden, and then they had a bunch of. It was basically Oakland A's Billy Ball. It just that front office picked players and put them in spots to do certain things. They were not a cohesive team. I hated watching that team play fucking basketball.
Disgusting.
This is Chris Paul's most complete team. He has a legitimate scorer on his left with Devin Booker. He has a legitimate paint protector in DeAndre Ayton. A decent big
who can still score.
Yeah, right. A decent big who can still score. I know you guys don't like him. You guys may think he's trash, whatever.
I'm an Ayton fan.
But I like the way he plays. He's a decent big, especially this is his 3rd year in the league.
Yeah.
He will definitely get better over time.
100%.
And then you got all them young bucks at wing that can run and defend their ass off and shoot. This is definitely his best team, top to bottom.
I think it's still
lies supported in a couple weeks.
I think it still lies on Devin Booker.
It does. I was gonna just touch on that. We finally get to see some playoff Booker.
Yeah, Chris Paul has been amazing. Like, we know he's a floor general. We see DeAndre Ayton. He's still young. But
I will say, if Devin Booker continues to be Devin Booker, then the Kardashian curse is no more. Officially, because if he gets better, if he rises to the occasion, then that's going to be even better to see. Like, we already know what Devin Booker is about, so I don't have to get into that.
Yeah, it'll be his first playoff, so he needs to prove something, and I think he will. I think he'll have a decent series. But before that, as far as the Lakers and Golden State, it's gonna be a good game. And the NBA couldn't ask for a better matchup, right? For the first time implementing the play.
Especially a matchup where neither of these teams actually lose. Like they
exactly right. Yeah.
Like this is literally the perfect scenario for both of them for the NBA. And I think LeBron going to be playing chess, going to be looking back, deciding who he wants to play. The Suns, how they match up against the Suns, or the Jazz, how they match up against the Jazz. And I think he's going to come down to the conclusion that the 8th seed is the best spot to be in.
Well, if they get the 8th seed and they beat the Jazz, they actually get the Clippers in the 2nd round.
That's assuming that the Clippers are going to show up against the Mavs.
And that's another. We might have to save that for another episode. But I'm riding Team Luka, baby. I don't know what y'all on. But
we're gonna have to wrap. We're gonna have to wrap this episode up.
Clippers. We're gonna have to wrap this first episode. The Clippers are fucking ass.
We're gonna have to wrap this episode up.
You watched it.
We'll get back to this.
I was adamant about how ass the Clippers are.
We're gonna wrap this episode up.
When Luka gets that ass.
We're gonna wrap this episode up. We will discuss this in the next episode.
MVP.
But thank you guys for tuning in to our play-in predictions and recaps. I'm your boy Xmg.Xotic, Starks, Hitch, whatever you want to call me. Pass it off to the next.
And that would be me. It's your boy Hart. To the right of my man's. And I'm going to pass it down.
It's me. I'm top right. I'm sorry. I'm still confused about that.
We got to get that right.
For next time. But Julian Donald. Follow me on Twitter, Xmg.JD. I'll respond to you there. If you have any questions about my takes, I will gladly answer you there. You're free to DM me. Take it on to the next.
It's your boy Jose. You already know. Follow me on social media. Cuban Boy 305. Just to let y'all know, the Heat are sweeping through the East. Just letting y'all know. We'll talk about that in the upcoming episodes, but you already know what we on.
Yes, sir.
Knicks Heat Eastern Conference Finals.
Y'all can see the background.
He didn't say.
Knicks Heat Eastern Conference Finals.
Thank you for watching Raw and Unfiltered TV. This is Morning Wood. We out.